And yeah, I'm just going to start your reading right now for Leo. I'm sorry, I'm so silly. So the first card you have for your past is Strength. And yeah, I love this. This is you, obviously. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing holding back. Maybe you're holding back from saying something. I think you might have been holding back your temper, actually. You know, I think you're making sure you didn't say anything. You're thinking a lot. You know, you're thinking a lot. I think it was a bit negative. I think it was a negative feelings toward someone, I think. And yeah, I'm getting this feeling of wanting to breaking away from something. And I think what you were trying to do is you wanted to break away from someone who was a bit negative in a group, because I'm seeing a group. I'm seeing this person and then I'm seeing a kind of a group around them. So, you know, I think you're breaking away from all of them, actually. I don't know if this was a friendship group. Yeah, I'm seeing a group where, you know, everything seemed to be fine. Everything was going along fine, you know, there were no problems or whatever. And then this one person either became really dominant all of a sudden, or it might be that maybe there were a new person that came along and kind of disrupted this whole group. Because, you know, it's like the whole dynamic of this group really changed because of this person. And here's this person at the center of it. So, yeah, I think you had to kind of stop yourself from saying something. What I'm picturing in my mind is, this is going to sound really strange, but this is the picture I've got in my mind with this group. I don't know if you've ever had... If you've ever sat there with seagulls around you and you kind of throw bread or whatever, and there's a big group of seagulls and they all come and kind of try and get the food or whatever, and there's always one dominant one, and it's always very aggressive toward all the others and kind of pushes them away from the food and screams at all the other ones. So that's the kind of thing I've got in my mind here. So there's a very dominant person, and it's kind of upsetting the dynamic of this group. So if this is resonating, don't throw everyone out because of this one person. See if you can see other people separately or without this difficult person around. Obviously, I'm not saying, you know, start a different group and talk behind their back. That's not the kind of thing I'm talking about, obviously. But, you know, I'm seeing some really good, valuable people here. So try not to cut out other valuable people just because of this one person. That's the thing I'm trying to say there. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so the next card you have your past is the Wheel of Fortune. Right, I've seen this situation in your readings before. Okay, this is a love connection, and it's backwards and forwards, coming around again and coming around again. So you come around to each other, maybe you break up and then you come around again, like this wheel's kind of turning around and around and around. Now there's a huge amount of passion there, a huge amount. It's this big orange wheel, that's what I'm seeing. You know, and also you have some really interesting conversations as well. You're kind of an intellectual match. You have that about you as well. So very, very hard to kind of get away from. You know, you're kind of almost... It's like you always need to be around them. That's the kind of thing I'm getting. Because I'm looking at this big orange wheel, and obviously orange, it's made up of red, which is passion, and yellow, which is about the mind and communication and all of that. So you really connect on those two levels. So this is someone who, again, you know, you keep on going backwards and forwards with them. So I don't want to be bossy, but I really don't like to see this. You know, you might be happy with this situation, but it's coming up here for a reason. And so if you're not happy, which I don't think you are, that's the feeling I'm getting around this. The feeling I'm getting is, I think deep down you would like a proper relationship, probably with this person, if not them, with someone else. But you keep on connecting back with this person. You know, but if you do want a proper relationship, something big is going to have to change here. You're going to have to decide. I think you're probably going to have to decide out of three things. You know, the first one is, do you want to stay in the same boat, doing the same thing? Or do you want a proper relationship? Or do you want to stop seeing this person altogether? They're the three choices I think you have. And I'm getting this really strong feeling that you might be a little bit too passive in this. You know, you might be doing things like waiting to see what they want, looking out for signs that they might want a proper relationship. You know, they go away and they come back again. It's like, oh, maybe this is the time. Maybe this is the time we'll really get together properly. That's the kind of thing I'm seeing. So if that's happening, if that's resonating with you, take control of this. Whatever you do, don't wait for them to make the decisions, because I think if you wait for them to make a decision, I really honestly don't think anything's ever going to change. I think it's going to stay in this cycle. I'm not trying to be negative. I just don't like seeing anyone in a situation where they're not in control of things. Have a look at this Sphinx. You know, he's sitting on the top of this wheel. He's got a sword up. And it's there because he's guarding against people who don't suit him. So that's what you need to do. You need to guard against this situation that comes around and around and around again. Because what this is telling you is, if you're not happy, you might be happy just to kind of be backwards and forwards. But I'm getting the feeling that you're not. And if you're not, then guard yourself against this. Something has to change. That's what I'm seeing in that card. Right, so the last card you have your past is the Queen of Cups, which is beautiful. I mean, this is the most beautiful queen. She's feminine, she's sensitive as well. So yeah, I think you're keeping something to yourself. I think you might still be doing that. You know, the Queen's Cup has a lid on it, so she's feeling all these feelings, really deep feelings, but she's keeping it hidden under this, keeping the feelings hidden under this lid. And yeah, I think this might have something to do with this group again, this group dynamic that I'm seeing in the Strength card. You know, you're a Leo, you're the Leo, obviously, but I think this Lion in the Strength card might actually be this difficult person in this group, and everyone else is kind of acting a little bit like this woman, you know, quiet, caring, nurturing. It's almost like people are walking on eggshells around this person, kind of tiptoeing around them, and they're sort of a little bit afraid of, you know, upsetting them. And you know, don't be angry, but I think you might be a little bit like that as well, because you're kind of stuck in this situation and you're not sure what to do about it. You know, you're strong, you're a Leo, obviously you're strong. You're not afraid of people, but I think you might be being a bit tactical here, actually. That's why you're hesitating. I hope that makes sense. It's like you're thinking, what am I going to do here? I have to think about how I'm going to handle this. You know, you don't want to make things worse, but you don't want to kind of let this person get away with things either. That's what I'm seeing. You don't want to cause problems because you've got a lot of people around this group, and you're kind of mindful of how they feel about this. So I think, you know, I think you're probably just thinking about this, deciding what to do. It is affecting you emotionally. I think some people might have already left this group, actually. So, you know, you're not the only one, but it's difficult because, yeah, part of you wants to say something. I keep on seeing this. Part of you wants to say something. You know, you have a really strong sense of justice. You don't like to see people getting away with things, but you don't want to make things difficult for yourself. You know, you don't want to push yourself off a cliff. You know, there's a cliff here just behind this queen. So I think it's just going to take some time for you to sort all this out in your head. But if this is affecting you emotionally, just remember that it's not affecting them emotionally. They don't care about any of this, so why should you let them affect you emotionally? Just have a think about that. But, you know, try not to let emotions, you know, try and take the emotions out of this. That's what I'm trying to say. Think about this logically. That might help you. I hope that does help you. I know that's a bit garbled. Sorry about that. So anyway, the first card you have your present is the Two of Pentacles. Okay. Okay, this is what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing one thing right away. Okay, I hate seeing this, but I have to say this. This is what I'm seeing, and I have to say this. Okay, this person who's coming backwards and forwards in the Wheel of Fortune, when you separate, and I'm seeing a lot of separations here, backwards and forwards, so you probably separated a few times. That's what I keep on seeing here. So after you separate, I think they might be going back to someone else. And I'm saying going back to because I think this is someone they've known for a long time, and they're kind of waiting in the wings, and every time you separate they go back to them. So yeah, I don't mean to be negative, I really don't, but I have to say this if this is what I'm seeing. You might already know this, I don't know, but and you know, technically they're not actually doing anything wrong, because it's happening after you separate. So they probably think, oh, it's okay, you know, I'm separated, I'm not doing anything with them now, I'm apart from them now, so I can go back to this other person. But it's not good. It's not good to be someone who's being juggled backwards and forwards, like, oh, well, when they annoy me, I'll go to the other person, and when I'm not happy with them, I'll go back to the other person. That's not good, obviously. And I think they're a bit arrogant, actually, because they think you'll always be there on one side, and they probably think this other person will always be there on the other side. So, okay, I'll say this. If you stop coming back every time they come around to you again, if you say no to them, that's going to stop this balance of power that they have. They're like this man in the middle of this, keeping these two people on a string, going around and around and around, and they're in the center of power. They're right in the middle, and they're conducting this whole thing. They're orchestrating everything. So if you take yourself away, if one of these coins goes away, it's going to change the power balance, and everything's going to fall on the floor, and they'll be left kind of standing there going, oh. Look at this infinity symbol as well. I think they probably think they can keep this going on forever. They can keep on doing this together. I mean, together forever between the two of you. So if this is resonating, get yourself out of this dynamic. I know how hard it can be when you're really attracted to someone. I've been in the same kind of thing. Not exactly like this, but I kept on going back to someone because the attraction's just so strong, and you just keep on doing that, and you keep on hoping every time it's going to be, this is going to be the time, you know, this is going to be the time when it all works, then it all goes wrong again, and you go back again, and then next time this is going to be, you know, that's what I'm seeing that. But, you know, I know this isn't going to resonate with everyone. I know that, but I had to say that. Because I think someone needs to hear that message, and I was getting that very, very, very strongly. Okay, so the next card you have your presence, the Four of Wands. Okay, I'm really, really happy to see this because this has been really negative so far, actually. But yeah, okay, so I've been seeing this in your readings for a while as well. This is another thing I've been seeing for a while. This is about a project, some kind of work thing. I think you know this is taking off for you. You know, you can feel this. You know this is going to be successful. So this card's 1111. This is the big one. This is the arrow pointing up to the sky. That's what this red conical roof's about on this card. It's about a big red arrow. Okay, so I don't mean to bring this back to something negative again, but if this is going to work, really work, and it has the potential to work, I can see that, and you know that as well, get all of these other negative influences out of your life. This group situation, obviously not everyone in the group, but the negative ones or the negative one, and this backwards and forwards person. Remove all the negativity, if you can, out of your life, because you're in control of this. You're in control of this business, you're in control of this project or this work thing, whatever this is. But you're not fully in control of these other areas of your life. And that's another reason why you have this Two of Pentacles here, because your life's not properly balanced. And when you get the Four of Wands and it's about business or an idea or a job or whatever like that, there's no time to waste. The gate isn't opened forever. So this is quite important for you to do this now, and that's why this is all coming up now. You've got to get all these other areas of your life into balance so that this works for you properly and it's successful. Because if you've got all these emotional issues going around in your life, and you've got this kind of romantic thing that's kind of up and down in your emotions, and they keep coming back, and one minute you're happy, then you're sad, and all of this, you're not going to work properly in this business if that's all happening to you. So you've got to get all that negative stuff out of your life. Okay, so I know I sound bossy, I'm sorry about that. So the last card you have your presence, the Page of Wands. Yeah. Okay, I know I've been bossy. It's just that I don't like people being held back. I hate to see that. So sometimes I get a bit passionate. I know that. Anyway, sometimes I see this page as someone who doesn't quite fit in. You know, he's looking up to where he wants to go. He's looking up to the top of this wand and he's thinking, okay, I want to get to where I want to go. How am I going to do that? And he's looking up to the top of the wand because he wants to get out of where he is. He's like, I want to get out of where I am. I want to get out of my position and get into a better one. How am I going to do that? And he's doing that because he doesn't feel as if he fits in where he is. And, you know, if you look at his clothes, if you look at the clothes he's wearing, he's dressed for winter. You know, he's got a heavy scarf on and he's got boots on and everything, but he's in the desert. He's in a hot climate. So I think with this thing you're doing, this idea or this business thing, I think a lot of people around you probably don't really understand this thing properly, and you might be being a bit quiet about this around these people about what you're doing because a lot of people don't understand this, and you're trying to get away from the environment that you're in into another one where people might understand you. Now, there are some people who support this, there are some people who understand this, and I think what's going to happen is you're probably going to eventually drift away from this old group and toward this new group and other people as well. And, you know, pages are students as well, and I think there's someone in this new group who might have already done what you want to do. You know, they might be a step ahead of you maybe. So if you know who this is, I think they'd really be a really good person to mentor you, to help you. And, you know, maybe as a Leo, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, I don't need help. I don't need help. And no, you don't need help. You don't. But I think this person's advice would be really invaluable to you. So, you know, listen to what they have to say if you know who this is. Don't be too proud. Don't be the proud Leo in this when it comes to this, because I think this person has a lot to teach you. So talk to this person, listen to this person, and you'll get a lot further if you do that. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So the first card you have for your future is the Hierophant. I'm so happy to see this here. This is really interesting. I'm really glad this is here, especially if what I was seeing in the Two of Pentacles is resonating with you. Okay, so this is about you having to think about your self-value, valuing yourself, listening to yourself, and taking control of yourself. Now, so have a look at this Hierophant. Okay, so he's up high, he's sitting on a throne. These two monks are sitting in front of him and they're listening to him and they're learning from him. And I think that might be what this project's about. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're influencing other people, teaching other people. That's what this is about, I think. And, you know, how does this Hierophant stay in control of himself? How does he do that? He doesn't listen to what people have to say, especially if it's negative. He doesn't listen to negative things that people say. He doesn't listen to people who want to bring him down. He doesn't listen to people who want to bring his beliefs down. He has very strong core beliefs because his ears are covered. Look at his ears, they're covered. He listens to his own inner voice. And he doesn't just let anyone come near him either. You know, they have to go through certain steps to get near him. Look at these golden keys in front of him. There are some crossed keys in front of him. Only certain people can use them. Only certain people can get through. Valuable people, golden people. These are golden keys. So this is how you have to be. You're already on the road to success. I can see that. But this is about success in all areas, including internally. That's the most important success. Internal success, self-value. So to get that self-value, you've got to be discerning about who you have around you, who you listen to, who you let near you. That's what I'm seeing in this card. And it's the same thing I was seeing in the Wheel of Fortune with that Sphinx guarding himself. So think about those two things if this all resonates with you. So the next card you have for your future is the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, so yeah, I don't want to tell people to isolate themselves. That's not what I'm trying to do. This woman's obviously alone. So, you know, I don't mean never let anyone near you. This is about being discerning. It's about letting the right people near you. That's what this is about. You know, I think you have a lot of choices to make that are ahead of you about, you know, all of these people, who you want around you, who you don't. And I think this person, this love connection, I think they are probably going to try and come back again. And that's probably why they're all in this reading, because I think they might be on the verge of coming back to you again. And that's when you're going to have to make this choice. Am I going to say no to them? Am I going to say yes to them? But they are going to come back. You know, this woman's holding a falcon, and falcons are trained, I should say, to keep on coming back to their owners again and again and again. So watch out for that. And you know, they're probably convincing, they're probably charming or whatever, but just remember that this is your choice. This is yours. It's your choice and it's your life. So yeah, that's all I'll say about that, because I've said a lot about this already. It's everywhere in this reading. Okay, so the last card you have your future is the Six of Wands. Fantastic. I'm so happy to see this here. This is the victory card, obviously. This is where you're heading in terms of this business thing or this work thing. But what I want to see for you is victory in all areas of your life, especially internally. Okay, so I'm going to sound bossy again, so just prepare. So yeah, okay, so no matter how hard you try, you can't compartmentalize all these different areas of your life. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to be really successful in this work and this business thing, but it doesn't matter about my you know, about my love life. It doesn't matter about who I have around me. It doesn't matter about all of that. That's not true. You know, sometimes emotions can affect other areas of your life. It happens to me. Sometimes if you work too much, it can make everything else imbalanced as well. That happens to me as well. So you've got to have everything in balance. So again, this whole reading's telling you, you need to clean up any areas of your life where you don't feel as if you're proud, happy, riding on your high horse like this man. So try and get everything back into balance so that you can be proud and you can be riding high in every area of your life. Not just one, not just two, but every area. And the main area you have to have that balance in and that pride and all of that is inside of yourself, because everything comes from that. So look at this Hierophant again. Everything that comes, everything that happens outside of you comes from inside of you, and it comes from how you value yourself. So Leo, I hope this resonated, especially the end, because I love the ending. It's beautiful. So, but yeah, general readings can't always resonate with everyone. But again, if you liked this reading, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and thank you so much for watching.